Hello, I'm Norm Marshall. In this presentation, I discuss effective strategies for addressing freeway congestion. This presentation is the fifth in a series of six. In the first four, I discuss why freeway expansion does not reduce congestion, how it has failed to reduce congestion in the past, why computer modeling of expansion shows false benefits, and how proper modeling will not show those same benefits. However, nobody likes freeway congestion, so what could we do about it? I briefly discussed four different strategies. One is reducing vehicle miles traveled, or VMT. The second is pricing. The third is a more comprehensive street network. And the fourth is downsizing. In terms of reducing vehicle miles traveled, we have a lot of studies about how land use in particular affects people's travel, and we know that VMT per person can be reduced with increased population density, increased job density, a better mix of housing and jobs, mixed development, higher intersection density, which encourages walking and also can help people get to transit, higher percentage of four-way intersections, and more transit stops. And this has all been statistically analyzed by Reed Ewing at the University of Utah. The second effective strategy is pricing. In our first presentation, I discussed Anthony Downs' book and he coined this phrase about the triple convergence, and he advocated pricing, and it's been advocated for many years. The idea behind pricing is that the triple convergence means that during peak periods, the freeway route will slow to the same travel time as the street route. So for example, if 1 mile at 30 miles per hour takes 2 minutes on the street route, it will also take 2 minutes on the freeway route. And when we are going 30 miles an hour on the freeway route, we call that severe congestion. If we price the freeway, we can set it so that the convergence is at a different point. So I give an example here where for the freeway, we're traveling the 1 mile at 60 miles per hour, but we also pay 20 cents a mile. And if we have a value of time of $12 an hour, this is the way economists think about this, then 1 minute is equivalent to 20 cents. So that 20-cent toll is a penalty that's equivalent to that 1 minute. And that should equilibrate roughly so that we can go 60 miles per hour while the street is still going at 30 miles per hour. But I'm not a supporter of managed lanes. In managed lanes, with a parallel system between free lanes and managed lanes, we end up with a poor choice between extremely high tolls and extreme congestion. Some of these tolls are forecast to go as high as $1 per mile or higher, and the only way that can be justified is if the free lanes are extremely congested. And we also have very high infrastructure costs because we have to build 2 roadways with flyovers. And we have huge impacts on cities because we're building shoulders on both of these dual roadways. We have the flyovers with extra height. There's huge impacts. If we just price all freeway lanes, which is seen as politically impossible, but we should be able to get by that at some point, then we can offer people a choice between a freeway system with moderate tolls, like that 20 cents a mile example I gave, and local streets. We don't need to build additional freeway infrastructure, and we don't have additional impacts. I did a study of congestion across 74 regions using real-time traffic information collected from INRIX. And when you look at what factors are statistically significant in the differences between congestion in different regions, we find only 3 things that I found were statistically significant. One is, all things being equal, higher regional population increases congestion. Higher median incomes increases congestion because people with more income travel more. And local street capacity reduces congestion. If we have more local streets, then the traffic can spread out and we have less congestion. What did not turn out to be significant was freeway capacity. It had no effect at all, which is consistent with the presentations prior to this one in this series. Density, although it's somewhat highlighted, doesn't affect congestion by itself. And even transit mode share doesn't affect congestion by itself. It turns out that in the statistics that transit mode share is more a factor from population and income than it is a cause of congestion. So a more comprehensive street network reduces congestion because, as we discussed, under triple convergence, we have freeway routes will slow to the same travel time as street routes. And if there's insufficient street density, then the congested streets will make freeways even more congested. Rather than operating at 30 miles per hour, you might be operating at 20 miles per hour or less. So this is why the street capacity is so critical. And then the last strategy I recommend is downsizing. And on this slide, I'm saying things a little bit glibly, but there's a truth in this. Without freeways, there would be no freeway congestion. And as we've learned in the previous presentations, urban freeways will be congested during peak periods. So with less urban freeway capacity, there would be less freeway congestion. And that's going to be spelled out more specifically in the final presentation, taking the next step, highways to boulevards. I'm Norm Marshall. Thank you for watching and listening.